Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are caramel apple cinnamon rolls. Now these particular rolls, well, I think they're really quite different because it's hard to believe, but they're actually made from a box of cake. Now, what I did was I purchased a box, as you see, a box of cake that is caramel apple cake mix. Now, if you don't like caramel, or caramel apple, I have another recipe, another video on a cinnamon roll made with a cake mix on my channel too. So check that out in case you don't like this caramel apple. But all you have to do is you do use your bread maker. And I want to give you the recipe right off the bat so you'll have it. And I will have it below the video in written recipe. You need the one package of caramel apple cake mix. You'll put that in. You're going to be also putting in 2 1/4 cups of lukewarm water, and that's 110 degrees. 2 1/4 teaspoon of dry active yeast, and 5 cups of all-purpose flour, and you'll put that into your bread machine. Now, and put it on the dough cycle, of course. Now, when the dough cycle comes out, the dough will look like this. Now, what I did was I took the dough out of my bread maker and I cut it in half. So in other words, you're going to get 2, if you can imagine. This is cut in half. This is just one segment. And I'll show you the rolls in just a moment that I made with the other half. So I'm going to put some flour, lightly flour, on my countertop here. And this dough is extremely light. It is not a heavy roll, a dense, a coarse type crumb at all. These are really come out very delicate. Again, it's so hard to believe that they're made from a cake mix. So let me put that down. Now they are a little bit sticky, but nothing that you can't handle. You don't want to put too much flour, just enough that you can work it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out to a 5 by 9. If you're doing the whole piece of dough together, then I would suggest to roll it out 10 by 18. But I cut that in half. I think they're just a little easier to make like this, and for the video I thought it would be much easier. So I'm going to roll it out to 5. Let me bring that in here a little bit, and we'll go 9. Okay, and it can, be a little bigger, so it's okay. Okay, if it's, they're a little bit off, that type of thing. Okay, and you don't want to, do your dough too much where you're handling it or rolling it out too much with your rolling pin. Now for the filling, what you're going to be using is a 1/2 cup of butter at room temperature, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now you can also put a 1/4 cup of chopped nuts, whatever type of nuts that you prefer, walnuts, pecans, and you could put a 1/4 cup of raisins. In my filling today, who I'm making these for cannot eat nuts, so I'm just going to put the 1/4 cup of raisins. And then once you combine them, and this filling becomes very crumbly, as you can see, just start placing it on your dough, and you want to stay about 3/4 of an inch away from the edge so it doesn't, drain out when you're baking. And just try to even it out as best as you can. But again, like I said, leave those edges. Don't go right to the absolute edge of the dough. Okay. These bake up so pretty and they smell so good. Your whole kitchen will smell of these cinnamon and this particular one, the caramel apple. Oh, they just taste so good. And then I'm just going to sprinkle those raisins on top. Now, if you want to put a little bit more raisins in that, you know, the recipe calls for about 1/4, and that's about 1/8 of a cup. And again, I cut it in half, and that's why everything is smaller. Let me put that rolling pin out of the way. And then I start on the long edge, and then just start rolling it in as tight as you can, like that. If some of it falls out, just, you know, push it back in with your fingertips. Then when you get done with the roll, with the jelly roll style, then just take your fingers and start pulling that dough up to seal it. I'll try to show you that. I hope you can see that. And I'm just kind of pinching it together just to make a seam out of it. And then I like to roll it on the countertop so the seam is underneath. And then I just take the sides, I pinch them together, and then I just kind of tuck them in. So then you have more of a rounded edge like that. Okay? And then form it. Now you're going to put it on a greased, heavily greased tray, baking tray, cookie sheet. And on cutting it, I find that's the easiest to do is to use actually string. And I have some string here. I forgot to cut it though. And the whole recipe, you should get 15 rolls out of them. And then just put your string underneath, and you're going to make them probably, oh gosh, an inch wide, 1.25 inches, that kind of thing. Just crisscross, you know, your string as you noticed, and then take the roll and then place it on your tray. Now they do bake up best if you put them next to each other because they are going to expand, but they bake together and they come out just beautiful. Again, just crisscross that, and then you have your nice roll as you see, and then do put them next to each other. Now if you want to put all the 15, the whole recipe, make it at, you know, one time, make it one long log, the one like I just did. You can use actually a 9x13 pan, and they do fit quite nicely. I tend to like to use these trays, but you can bake the whole recipe in a 9x13. And let's just cut one more here. And that way they just come out, they cut so cleanly, so nice, and just lay them down. Now you're going to put them, of course, in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and they're going to take you anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes to bake up. Now, what I do want to tell you, because I wanted to show you how I place them so close together, they do have to rise. So what I would suggest to do is, of course, just as I did, cut them, put them on your tray, and then cover them with a towel. And you know, they might rise for you within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe it'll take longer depending on the temperature of your kitchen. But you do want them to be double in size before you bake them at the 350. Let me rinse my hands real quick here, because I'd like to show you what the finished product looks like. And this is how these caramel apple rolls came out. They really look so pretty. Now another thing that you can do is for a glaze. I just used a powdered sugar and milk. If you don't have milk, you can use powdered sugar and water, just to the consistency that you like the thickness with. Or you could use a cream cheese frosting over them. I want to show you the bottom because they come out a beautiful golden brown on the bottom, and I want to cut one open for you so that you can see what they look like on the inside. And there you have it. They're very moist and very delicate. And again, I don't know if you can see the flake in it, but how flaky they are. They're coming off just by my fork here. They really come out delicious for a cake mix, which I know does sound quite odd. But give this recipe a try, and if you like it, leave a comment because I'd like to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.